So let's now talk about merchandising. Do you know that the average consumer that walks into a grocery store with 6 items on their grocery list end up leaving the grocery store with 10 items? That's a 40% increase from the original list that the customer came in with. How did that happen? There are a number of tactics and factors that account for this 40% increase. So let's talk about that. What is merchandising? There are various definitions of what merchandising means, but when it comes to a grocery store, there are various things that really pertain to the word merchandising. So the first part is the front area of your store. When that customer walks into your store, what are they going to see? Are they going to see a rack of Frito-Lay potato chips and snacks? Put in the front of the store what you want your customers to see and you want them to buy, because that's the first impression you're going to give them. So that's really important. And if you have a small store, the reaction is, well, I may not be able to put a table in front with baked goods on it, or I may not. We understand that. We understand that small stores have limitations of what they can do. But everybody has an end cap. And when you walk into that store, what's on your end caps? And what's fascinating about end caps are the following. When customers look at products on a shelf, there's 100 products above, below, and on the sides, and it's a very confusing for the consumer to see products. But when you put it on the end cap, many times there's air on the left and air on the right. And what's in front of them is what they'll see. Now, you don't want to put too many items on the end cap because then you start confusing them again. But you can put multiple products on an end cap, promote it, and you'll get their attention, because that's one of the challenges in merchandising, is to get the customer's attention. They're coming in there wanting to buy certain items. Your job as a retailer is to interrupt that process and get them to see the things you want them to see. And so end caps are an incredible way, and every store has an end cap. Small stores and big stores. So let's talk about a story. It's a very simple story. Imagine someone wants to open up a small retail and they only have Cheerios cereal. So the only customers that will walk into that store is someone that wants Cheerios. But that store owner now decides to put milk in that store along with the Cheerios. So now you have a customer that wants the milk, and you also have the customer that wants Cheerios. So the customer that walks in to buy the Cheerios, oh, you have milk. They may buy the milk. And the customer that wants the milk may buy the Cheerios. So here, where you only had one customer buying one product, now you have 2 customers buying 4 products. So that's a very simple example of how you can add products to your mix and create more of an attraction and more reasons for people to come into your store. But now be careful. As you add more products, you don't want to make the merchandising confusing, that they don't even know what they're looking at. I've seen stores where there's so much stuff, I can't even see what I'm looking at. So be careful. Don't put too much in the store, but put enough so that you're relevant and the customer can go in there and buy products they need. Now, I mentioned about interruption. Interruption is a process of keeping the customer from going in a straight line, getting the milk, and leaving your store. Interruption is sort of causing them to move around something, like a display. Oh, there's a display there. What is that? They're going to see it. Again, you got their attention. Maybe they'll buy that product. Another item that a lot of stores don't do are called clip strips. They come in plastic and they come in metal. And those clips sit on Logier shelving, Metro shelving, any kind of shelving, and in those clips you can put products on it. Now those products you put on that could be compatible to something that's there by on the shelf. Like, for example, let's say you had barbecue sauce and you could put on the clips things that you use during barbecuing. Now the great thing about clip strips is that consumers buy them spontaneously. They'll see it and go, oh, I may need that. So they'll buy it. And guess what? Price isn't the big thing. So you can make a good margin on those clip strip items, and you can put them anywhere you have shelving. Let's talk about now how you go about creating more attention to the store. Color is a wonderful way to do that. But lighting is also very important, because with lighting, you light up your store, you make it feel safe, you make it feel comfortable, but customers can see your products. And that's really important. And there's several types of lighting. Fluorescent lighting's terrible because it gives off a green hue and it just kills warm colors like reds and oranges and yellows. So what you want to look for are LED lights, and they're very available today. And you want to look for LED lights with a Kelvin temperature of 3,400 degrees. You do not want to get ones at 5,500 because it gives off a bluish tint. But when it's 3,400 degrees Kelvin, it gives off a warm color and it brightens up the reds and the oranges. And all these packages that you have that manufacturers did a lot of work and effort to get attention with their packages, it makes them pop. So lighting is very important in a store. Now, if you've got pricing and value, you want to put the things on special. You want to put the signage up as we've talked about, but you also want to put the great price that it's at. So that's really important as well. Now, there's various types of shelving. There's a traditional logier shelving, which is the cantilevered shelves that come out from the back. But then there's also a thing called metro shelving, which are wire frame shelves with 4 poles. The wire frame shelves with 4 poles allows you to move only a section of it if you want at any particular time, where logier, it's a whole gondola run and you can't move it easily. In fact, it's very hard to move. So if you're thinking about having some flexibility with your shelving, I suggest Metro. And you can go online, metro.com, and they've got a whole catalog and they have lots of support. And we've done a lot with Metro, and it's been very successful in small stores because we're able to add a lot of shelves because we reduce the airspace between the top of the bottle and the next shelf. So you do not want to merchandise large bottles and small bottles on the same shelf, because above the small bottles you end up possibly with a lot of air. And so every single cubic inch of your store is critical to merchandise. And so by putting the right level products, you can get those shelves very close, and you'll see samples of these kinds of shelves and some of the ways that other grocers have merchandised using Metro shelving. So the last thing is that I like to say about merchandising is that it's a key to getting people to buy more product. Merchandising can be attractive, exciting, and fun. But don't confuse them. Don't put too many things together. Make it clear what they're looking at and what they can buy so they know what's there. So the last thing is, there's a saying in the grocery industry, which is stack it high and it will fly. Well, there's a lot of truth to that. Small stores, you're limited with that, but you can still stack something there and price it right, and you will see it fly as long as your customers can see it and know that it's there. So merchandising is a great way to increase your sales and also a great way to increase your profitability.